Alright guys, welcome back. So I'm finally ready to get this engine started, hopefully, in this video. If you're new or you don't quite remember what's going on, I bought this machine a couple years ago and mostly everything was broken on it, but the engine was okay. Unfortunately, I immediately jinxed that. And I have heard this engine run, by the way, so the engine is fine. The engine sounds great and there's no issues there. I did get the engine pulled because it was in the way, but then I got an oil sample analysis on it that was a little bit concerning, and when I broke the engine down a little bit more, I found that one of the pistons was cracked and there was a couple other things going wrong with it. So the last few videos I've done a complete rebuild on it, and we're gonna get it started in this one. All right, as promised off camera, I got the wiring pretty much knocked out. So we got water and oil temp. I'm not sure why one's in Fahrenheit and one's in Celsius, you can't change them. Oil pressure and RPM. These are all running off 12 volt. This is 24 volt. For some reason I decided to do that. I'm not sure why. Anyway, the wiring just kind of runs down there along the side of the radiator. And there's the batteries down there. And then you can see it kind of tracks up onto the other side. So over here it comes up. And then we got those two right there are oil pressure and temperature. Up here we got, that's the coolant sensor line right there. Down here I got this for the RPM gauge. So that's the signal and power, and I just bought this. This is like a $6 hall sensor off Amazon. Didn't come with any instructions, but these are, I think this is simple. It just came with a magnet, and when it goes by the magnet, it triggers it. These are the only instructions that came with. So let's see if we can figure that out. So this was to here. Blue is signal, so black was signal. And purple was 24, which is brown. Where should I put this? Like here? Right on the crankshaft? There's a light on here, that's a good sign. I don't know how close this has to be. Okay, I made this little bracket. It did come with a magnet, but this is like the weakest magnet I've ever seen. It'll just fly right off of that pulley. So I'll get a better magnet. Okay, we got some Chinglish instructions here for this thing, but these are always pretty much the same. So, so for a 4-cylinder, 4-cycle, you would divide by 2, which makes sense because for a 4-cylinder gas engine, you'd have 4 pulses per 2 revolutions. So that would be 2 per 1, so you divide it by 2. So all I should have to do is set it to 1. Looks like I just have to touch some wires. Let's see. So you just touch this to ground. It should go into some kind of mode. Yep. And then, okay, that's going up, so I'm going to go down. Oh, let's try that again. There we go. I think this should be 1, right? It's right on the flywheel, so I don't need any multiplication. So for the coolant sensor, there's this here and this here, but I think I want the sensor down here, right, before the thermostat opens. So I got a, this is a BSPT to NPT. Since all of these sensors I got are all NPT. This one has an O-ring on it, so I don't need to Teflon it. Got these new fittings for the heater hose, so I might as well do these too. Is this going to fit or no? By the way, I did test this setup ahead of time, and it's actually pretty accurate. I threw it in some water with a thermometer, but the lowest these go is 104/40. Once the temperature gets above that, then they start turning on. Really, this is the only spot I could find where it made sense to plug the oil in. Oh yeah, plenty of space. This isn't ideal for oil temperature, obviously, but that's really the only option I have. Since this temperature probe is kind of a long size, you can't really use it. Definitely gonna leak. Let's be honest. Okay, for the Hall sensor, I found some stronger magnets. Hopefully, ooh, that light moved when I did that. Do you see that? It dimmed a little bit. That's a good sign. Yeah, I should probably glue that. It's gonna just shoot off of there. Okay, so this gear is supposed to drop in here, and this drives the oil pump on this side, and this spins on the cam gear. You can probably see it in there. There she is. So a pretty simple setup, but I'm gonna put oil in here. This is a way bigger port to fill it, and the valve cover is not. We're gonna have to go on this end first. A lot of people recommend it. I'm just using cheap conventional oil for the initial break-in, and we'll go to something nicer because I'm going to be changing this after a few hours. I think this takes like 3.5 gallons. Add some break-in additive. This does have a brand new cam and lifters, and they're flat tappets, so I guess the filters aren't full, so maybe I should fill those. Easy. Call that good. All right, I got the old gear here, and I replaced this because this gear was kind of worn out with the old cam. So see if we can modify it to make a priming tool. All right. Okay, it's actually not bad for freehanding it. Let's see how wobbly it is in a drill. That's actually not bad. I'm not going to use it in here, but so this is going to come in handy here to kind of eat that slop up, because this is a wobbly bit here. So if this is held, yeah, so this will kind of eat up that vibration, hopefully, so it doesn't snap off in there. We'll see. Watch this thing just snap off in there and drop metal everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the slowest speed. Ooh, I can hear it. Oh, can I get this off? Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get this off. It's fine. Probably shouldn't have put gasket maker on here. So the idea here, I'd like to see oil come out of this turbo inlet and the valve train. All right, I'll put the camera here so you can see the oil pressure. Oh, I think it just started. There, whoa! Okay, well, we got oil to the turbo, I guess. Nothing in the valves yet. Nothing. Got a leak right there on the bypass for the oil cooler. I guess it's good we're doing this now. You can see the drops down there. It's probably good we're doing this now instead of stressing out about it when the engine's running. Any oil coming out of here, but I checked the footage back. It looked like I had oil pressure, if you saw that, so that's a good sign. But I'd like to see it come out of here to know all the air and stuff's out. Yeah, that plug was like hand tight, which I thought I had tightened it before, and this one's also hand tight, so whoops, this one's leaking. Not seeing anything. Okay, turns out I'm an idiot. So let me look at this. So this is a flow chart of how the oil gets to the engine. So it goes through like the filter, et cetera, then it goes into the just the main oil galley. And then that goes to the camshaft bearing, if you see right above my finger. And then that goes to the cylinder head valve. So the engine has to be spinning for it to get to the valves. I almost forgot to put the new gear in. That would have been, actually let me put some lube on here, hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, we got this thrust plate on here. Make sure that doesn't fall. I'm going to have to spin the engine over to prime the fuel system, so I might as well wait to finish checking the oiling out until this is done. No, perfect timing. This hose is really stiff. It's better. This hose is a little bit too big for this. That's low pressure. All right, I got this little bleeder here in the back. So let's see if we can sneak some air pressure into here and force fuel up. I don't think it's going to go through the priming pump. I feel like this is meant to hold fuel from getting back down, so it's probably, maybe it's just one way, but I'm going to loosen that fitting just so the air can get out. See if I can get it to work. Where's the what? I hear air coming out. Oh, this isn't tight. I guess I don't want the outlet hooked up right now, right? Hey, it's working. I'm going to need to tighten this once we get fuel through here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now I have the fuel line all the way at the input of the injection pump is cracked open too, right? So it should leak there if it's all bled. So we're hoping it comes out right here. Oh, yeah, it's coming back it's coming out of the drain now. When I pump on it, making a huge mess. I think I just have to bleed up to the injectors now, but I am gonna pull the glow plugs back out because it'll save on my starter and my battery by not spinning it over when it's under compression. Yeah, this one's got to be throttle because there's all these adjustment screws, and this one's got to be cut off. So is pulling it cut it off, or just pushing it cut it off? I'm guessing pulling it. Guess I'll know pretty quick if I'm wrong though. I want to pull this out or it's going to get sucked in. No. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. Now that's spraying right into the camera. Hold on a sec. Oh, one. Maybe I should give it more fuel since it's... Nothing. Getting oil pressure, that's a good sign. All right, well, let me try it with that cutoff forward instead of back. Uh-oh. Oh, that one's spraying. Okay, so that cutoff was in the wrong spot. It needs to be back. Good to know. All right, this thing should fire off, but I'm gonna do the coolant next. I'd also like to see some oil coming out of here. I got the kill switch off, so there shouldn't be any more fuel coming out. And then just run it again here and see if we can see any oil coming out. Oh yeah, okay, oil's coming out. Thank goodness. I don't know if you can see that right in there. It's also right in there, it's dripping out. Both the inlet and outlet on the radiator are 2-inch. This is 1.5, and then the fitting over here is 1 3/4. So I got one of these like universal flexible fit kits here. These things are never a good idea for a permanent solution, but hopefully it won't leak too much temporarily. And these can do 1 1/2, like 1 5/8, 1 3/4, and maybe even 1 1/4, I forget. This is the old hose, so this is where it's 2-inch, then it necks down to 1 1/2. So I'm going to cut it here, and then I got some like 1 1/2 and a 1 3/4 barb fitting. So I'll do that, and then I'll switch over to the junky flexible. All right, I got the 2 barbs in. Hopefully that kind of makes sense now. These universal kits, none of them have 2-inch. That's why I had to do this, because the biggest they go is 1 3/4. And oh boy, so loose. This is kind of... Oh yeah. Oh boy. terrible. Like I was saying, you'd have to be a crazy person to put something like this like permanently on an engine, because these things, there's just no way this is going to seal properly, at least for a long period of time. I mean, maybe for 10 minutes that I need it, but probably should have lubed this. Okay, I came to realize that this cover, it does absolutely nothing. It just gets in your way. So I just don't use that. I'm just using the rubber things that it came with in this. And I guess we'll see how this works. I'm gonna do the bottom now. Yeah, it probably will leak, but we'll find out here. If you've been a watcher of the channel for a while, you know I did pressure test this radiator a long time ago. So we're all good there. Like that, maybe? Maybe like that. Not sure what I'm gonna do here. Oh, that might be good enough right there. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, perfect. I had some of this stuff, so we'll give it a shot. Be nice not to hear a bunch of exhaust leaking when I'm trying to hear the engine. Okay, well there haven't been any fuel, oil, or coolant leaks, which is, I guess, so far a good sign. I'm not going to bolt this on because the solenoid's been sticking when I was cranking it over to prime it, so I don't want that stress. So I'll just hold it on while I'm trying to start it, and I'll just pull it off. What else? I think that's it for there. I'm leaving the intake off. I'll explain that in a second. So I freed the cutoff. That's loose. I'll just try it on idle. That should be idle, right? So I'll leave that throttle alone. Oh, I never tightened these glow plugs back in. Let me do that. All right, so the official Isuzu braking procedure here. It says start the engine, allow it to run at 750 to 800 RPM for 5 minutes. And then they want to remove the valve cover and check, make sure there's oil in there, which I kind of already did, but we'll do that anyways. I'll probably shut it off when I pull the valve cover, because then I want to put the intake pipe back on after that. So, I mean, the intake pipe shouldn't really matter at 750 RPM. After that, we want to increase the engine speed to 1500 for it to warm up. Then we'll be checking oil, coolant, and all that. And then we'll go to 2000 RPM for 20 minutes. And that's the essential running or braking operation that they have here. Probably check the oil one more time. I was messing around with that. Perfectly right in the middle. So here we go. Attempt number 1. Okay, that was maybe a little air in the fuel system there. Give it a little. Okay, well that was kind of anticlimactic, I guess. I guess ready for check for oil and leaks. So, you know, I'll probably call this video like, will it start? But come on, I mean, the engine has compression. It was timed properly, and then the injection pump was rebuilt by the pros at Area Diesel Service. So really, there's not much else to go wrong on a mechanical system like this. Let's see what we got here. Okay, good. Yeah, I see fresh oil on top of all the valve springs. So I think we're good here. It's definitely been oiling itself. So yeah, I can't take credit for this thing starting right up. I mean, that's Area Diesel Service. I will take credit for it having oil pressure and running smoothly, I guess. I mean, that was my work, but that easy startup, I mean, that's just because the injection pump's perfectly tuned up. I did notice that the magnet immediately shot off of the crank pulley, so I just glued another one on there. We'll see if that one stays on. You know what? I'm an idiot. The other magnet is still on here. Why isn't it working? It was working earlier. The magnet was backwards. I put another one on, flipped its polarity, and now at least the sensor light's dimming when it goes by. So here we go. I hear some rattling coming from the back. I think these bolts are coming loose. Let me tighten these up. Just putting in a throttle lever here. Okay. Okay, let's see if that sounds, it's not rattling. About 1250. Okay, so that was just under 20 minutes of runtime. I forgot to put these fans up ahead of time, but as soon as I put one or both of them on, it was getting up to about 196, then it dropped to like 192 or whatever you probably saw. And then the fan that was here failed. I just noticed because the temperature started climbing, and it got up to about almost 200. So it was already about 19 minutes, so I just killed it at that point. I mean, obviously this is not really doing a whole lot, but it helped a little bit. So, and I think I saw 25 PSI when I cut it back down to idle, which I think is normal. I looked that up, and then it was about 45 at 2000 RPM, which from what I've read, that's fairly normal for this engine once it's warmed up. There is a oil leak down there, and that is from the pan. And actually, I looked all the way around the pan, and it's kind of oozing out a lot of spots. And I mean, I knew that was going to happen. That pan gasket's really bad, so I'll probably end up just trying to torque it back down and then trying again to see if it still leaks. Besides that, the only other leak I saw was kind of oozing out of the valve cover gasket. So I did tighten it down, but I might need to tighten it a little bit more down. So just really that. I don't see any other fuel leaks, no coolant leaks, and just the oil pan. I checked every fitting. It all looked pretty good. So this coolant hose did survive too. It's not leaking anywhere here. Yeah, so let me start it back up and just let it idle for a minute. Just let the cooler air circulate through, because it was getting hot there. Down to 192. Just let that drop. All right, well, I guess that's it. Oh, by the way, in case you couldn't tell, this thing is toasted. I only saw like 2 volts coming off of it, so I'm gonna need to rebuild this or get a new one. Yeah, it's just this, and tighten the pan down, and I'll probably run it again just to see if the leaks are fixed. But we're pretty much, I think we can call this engine done. Ready to go back in pretty much. The good news about this leak is the oil looks clean. It's not like a milkshake or anything, so looks like my head gasket held on. Maybe we should check the main oil and see what that looks like. Oh yeah, beautiful. And I didn't see any oil in the top of the tank on the radiator, so I think we're good there. So I'm thinking maybe after 20 hours, I change the oil, the filters, and check the valves, the valve clearance, and I think that should be it. Can't really think of anything else. I mean, this was pretty painless. I guess all the pain was earlier on in the build, but at this point now it's kind of a little bit more simple. So, okay, so that just leaves what to work on next. So I got the hydraulic tank there. I need to just basically clean it. I think it's in good shape. Over there I have the fuel tank, which that needs like a complete redo. It needs to be cut open pretty much and redone on the inside. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, so that's going to be a video. So I also have the hydraulic pump. That's the one off my machine, and I grabbed that one right there. That's a EX120-2 pump. I don't remember the reason I got it. I think I just got it just to play around with to see how hard it would be before I try to rebuild mine. So do you think I should rebuild that one? I'm not sure. I mean, the hydraulics, the valve block was pretty gross, so maybe that's going to be bad inside. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But that's something I should think about. I also got a brand new wiring harness, so I could work on putting that in, which means cleaning out the all the inside part, which is full of grease. So that's another thing I could do. Or maybe I could spend some time and get the Z running. It is summer, and it is a good time to get it backed out of here because there's nothing in the way. I've had a dozer in the back of it for the last 2 years, so maybe I get this running. I don't know. I guess let me know what you guys think. Really, I'm thinking the pump, the hydraulic pump, but let me know what you think. All right, well, I'm stuck in Boston all week for work, but I'm able to edit this video, and I just wanted to quickly mention cost because it always comes up. So I'm going to show this spreadsheet. I actually put this spreadsheet in the description of every video I do. So this is it right here. Now it's the same format as I did for the dozer, but basically there's like I do either required or optional, because a lot of the stuff I fix is not required for the machine to work. For the engine, you can see I had almost $7 grand for what I paid. And obviously there's a lot of cheaper options to do this. But since this is for YouTube, and any money I make on YouTube goes back into my project pretty much, so that's why I'm able to, or willing to spend this much on this engine. Now there is other options, obviously. You could get a donor engine. You could get, I could have just run the engine that was in there until it broke, which may have been 1 week or it may have been 5 years, depending on how much I use it. So anyway, hopefully this gives you an idea of kind of the costs involved on doing a full rebuild like this on this engine. There was ways to spend less and there's ways to spend more on it. I could have gone all OEM on everything, but anyway. This is what I did, so hopefully this is helpful, and like I said, if you want to look at this, it's in the video description. There's a link for it. So anyways guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.